I'm Shankar, co-founder and CEO of Audeze. So the carbon is our first electrostatic product, the initial impetus behind carbon was a product that we were starting to design for MRI missions. Inside an MRI mission, it's a very hostile environment, and it's extremely noisy, very claustrophobic, and where chance happened, a meeting with professors at UCLA triggered that product. What we wanted to do was to see if we could make a product that would be able to have very high SPL, very high fidelity for noise cancellation, and be able to provide comfort and for research purposes inside MRI missions. And that's how that product was created. And once we created the transducer, we realized we should probably make an audiophile version of it as well, because it was one of the best sounding transducers we had designed. So that's how the carbon product came along. The way we make it is very unique. Almost every electrostatic product, headphone or speaker that we know of, has a thin filament coating on top of it, one way, or it could be metal coating or gold or titanium, something like that. So during our research into making planar drivers more easily, we were trying to see if we could embed some conductors inside the film, and we could not do the controlled dispersion of it in a particular way, but we ended up with a very uniform distribution across the whole film. That is how we created this new film. It is a polyimide film, but it has carbon nanotubes in a web inside the film that forms a conductive element. So we have no coating on these things, so we don't have to worry about environmental issues or humidity. So this is how we created this carbon headphone. We will have two versions, the MRI versions that we will sell through Smart, and the audiophile versions which we will sell directly. So basically in an MRI machine, about 20% of the people refuse to take it because either they are claustrophobic, it's very noisy, or they get anxiety and other reasons. And the nature of MRI itself, the nature of the engineering behind MRI is you have to stay still. If you shift, they have to go back and scan. They don't get a good image. So the more people shift and they are not calm or they are fidgety, it lengthens the time that you have to be inside an MRI machine. And we have some sample sounds on our YouTube channel. You can listen to the MRI sounds. It is nasty. There's no other way to put it. So when we did this headphone, I think we did this with UCLA Semel Institute of Neuroscience, Professor Cohen and his team, and this company Smart that has been formed. And they have been doing field tests with RadNet and stuff, and I think they published some results. They did a study with 295 patients, and they found out that almost everybody found this way more comfortable with the solution. And the second thing that they also found out is, which was very surprising, is about 20% of the people actually thought they spent less time inside the MRI machine when they were polled after the whole MRI. They thought they were inside the machine for less time than they were actually in. So the goal of it is very similar to all our other headphones. It was like our intention was to make the most natural sounding headphone. That's all it was. I think with the film, with the embedded carbon nanotubes and stuff, I think it has this characteristic that's unlike other electrostats which are coated, because many headphones have actually coating on only one side, not on both sides. And in this particular headphone, the film has the conductive element throughout the volume of the film. So I think that makes a difference in the way the electrostat sounds. We did some tests with musicians and sound engineers. We have done quite a few of them, both in LA and in New York, and we got a lot of feedback, and by far one of the most common one was it's very natural sounding. We have made other headphones that are very lightweight. For example, the Mobius, it has a battery, it has PCBs, and it actually is quite lightweight compared to our LCD headphones. The LCD one is actually only 250 grams. Yeah. So, but because of the other LCD headphones, especially the wood ones that are significantly heavier, the perception is it's always heavy. And some of these issues are genuine. The LCD-4 is 650 grams. It's not easy to wear it for 6 to 7 hours. So one of our design goals was to completely redesign it to make it lightweight. So when we did it, the initial design of the LCD-5 actually had leather headband, but we realized it actually added 45 grams to the weight, and so we changed it to carbon fiber. And every single part, for example, the magnesium, the closeouts are magnesium, the yokes are magnesium, this is titanium, the grills are even magnesium. So everything, we just decided, let's just go and shave as much weight as possible in every single thing. It still has 14 magnets. So one thing we haven't compromised on is the sound quality and other things. We wanted to make sure this is efficient enough. You don't need an enormous speaker amplifier to drive it. We want this to be easily usable. So that was the other part of it. In the other thing, terms of design, the LCD headphones have had similar design characteristics for a while, since we introduced the LCD-2 in CanJam. So we wanted to change it to become a little bit more modern design. So that's one of the reasons we went in and redesigned everything. The yokes, every single part on this is new. There is not a single part this shares with our older LCD headphones.
And you moved away from the wood as well.
Yes, that was because of supply issues. We are most of our wood headphones, it's difficult to scale up. We have had other LCD headphones made with magnesium, for example, the 4Z. But for this one, we wanted to create some newer design. So with this one, we use the acetate material that we use for sunglasses. So this is machined acetate or polished acetate. So
is the acetate lighter than wood, or is it about the same?
It's lighter than wood, definitely.
Okay.
The phasers are now inside the ear cup, so there is no phasers don't hit the ear lobe and stuff and don't cause comfort factor. So they are beside this. The ear pads are sculpted kind of shape so that there is no reflections in the ear pad. The magnets are also further apart, so the sound stage is slightly bigger. And because of the ear pads, you also get the reflections and stuff in the chamber are lower, so you get a much more cleaner sound, so more detailed, more cleaner sound. And in terms of driver, this has a new type of parallel, we call it parallel uniforce. So it's our patented uniforce method of making the diaphragm. But what we are doing is multiple smaller traces. We actually tried this a little bit in our LCDR headphones as well in the first release, but it has multiple smaller traces that balance the force on the diaphragm. So we can still make it easy to drive on amplifiers. So those are the big changes from a construction point of view. And the other change sonically is between 3 and 4 kilohertz, there's a lot more energy on these headphones than the LCD-4, for example. So that's one significant change. You can see it in the frequency response quite easily. But the bass is quite similar. Perception might be slightly different, but that might be because of the ear pads. But the bass response is pretty similar to LCD-4s. And in terms of high frequency, I think it's more linear than LCD-4s. We were actually pleasantly surprised by LCDR response. Our initial idea was this was one of those small research projects we had. We were not even sure when to release it, how to release it, and there was a lot of debate internally because we had the LCD-5 and the carbon coming. So we decided initially to make it like a very limited series and see if there's people, because it comes with a headphone amplifier and you cannot use it easily with other amplifiers. So it was initially, we thought, okay, let's just do it like almost like a drop, like, the issue drops and like things like that, where we have a limited edition to see if there's interest in. And this has been the single most requested headphone we have ever had in a while. So people have asked us, but this year we have the LCD-5, the carbon, and we have to ship these things and manufacture. We are still a relatively small company. We have to see what to do because we have to figure out, is there a bandwidth? I'm pretty sure this year we don't have enough bandwidth. And then also we have to see, is this something that's sustainable over the long period of time? We don't want to just go in and create a new category again. So we have to see. We actually have people who get tattoos of our grill and send us pictures and stuff. So which is, we have a fan following, I mean, we're very grateful for it, but the grill and other things have become at least imprinted in the minds of people.
Right.
So
Iconic.
So whatever we wanted to do with LCD headphones, we didn't want it to completely look like something else totally different. So we wanted to carry the LCD design. So, but we don't want it to look completely like an older headphone also. So one of the main issues we had with the design was, how do we do this so that it looks like a evolution of our LCD series? And the other problem we had was our initial design. After we did it, we saw that there are some copycat headphones of our headphones that look something similar. So we had to try, figure out how do we make this headphone so that it doesn't look like it's like an evolutionary design and not like some knockoff of LCD headphones, right? So that was actually something that we actually had to change a little bit from the original design. I mean, a lot of thought went into it. Boom Bang was a company that helped us design this. So we had, 20 different iterations of the design and CMF done till before we finalized the design.
That's my favorite looking Audeze headphone.
This one?
Yes.
It's really sleek.
I love it.
See, because the reason is because there was an industrial designer for this headphone. The previous ones, we did not have an industrial design.
Yeah.
It was actually an evolved design. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like, especially like the way that the headband design is and how that's changed, along with I love the way that the yokes look. That sort of almost like tapered kind of edge look to it. It's just fantastic.
This one's.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things are all from the design house.
Some of the challenges in getting the weight down to what's the total?
420.
420 grams. Yeah. So
It was a intentional number to hit. Especially coming from California. So,
perfect for.
So we wanted to actually, change the name to LSD, so mind-altering headphone. But we were afraid that the customs and other people will have a problem. What are you shipping? L5 LCD LSDs.
LSDs.
Boxes of LSD.